All right, I'm pleased to announce our guest speaker for this afternoon, Guiding Eyes for the Blind graduate, Shawn Cheshire. Shawn?
Thank you. Just stay. Hi, everybody. My name is Shawn Cheshire. I lost my vision from a brain injury when I was 36 years old. I'm 50. I'll be 51 this year. Just a little backstory on who I am. I was born and raised in South Texas, and I joined the Army when I was 17 years old and served 8 years as a helicopter armament system mechanic. Got an honorable discharge, got married, had 2 kids, got divorced, became a paramedic firefighter. And one day when I was working in the back of an ambulance with a combative patient, I was injured. I don't have any memory of what happened that day, other than I had my partner and a student with me. Months later, when I had the ability, they explained to me what happened. The combative patient injured me. I ended up being severely visually impaired for 1 year. I had very little central vision, but through the course of that year, I lost my vision. I am total blind, so I have cortical blindness, which means my eyes are healthy, but my brain is a little broken. And I have no light perception, so I am total blind. When that happened, and I was a single mom at the time, and my kids were very little, I think that it began this process of this total evolution of who I am, or who I am today. I think I spent quite a few years, or not quite a few, a couple years, just, I think dying was more attractive to me than living. And it was a real struggle for me to figure out how to kind of flip that balance between life and death, choosing to live versus not wanting to. So I think that at that time, that became the beginning of my journey of cohabitating with this extreme loss and sadness. And within a couple years of my injury, I was at the mall. I was living in Syracuse, New York, and I was at the mall, and Guiding Eyes was there doing some phantom walks with harnesses with some of their local individuals that work with Guiding Eyes. And they saw me and my cane, and a lady approached me, and she asked me if I'd ever been interested. She asked me a little bit about my story and asked me if I'd be interested in a dog. And I was like, absolutely not, because I can barely take care of myself right now. And I think what was interesting is that she was just so positive, and then she's like, well, let me just tell you how a guide dog could potentially help you. And if you think about it, who I was before the injury, I was a very independent, single mom trying to take care of my kids and take care of people, and so independence was huge for me, and I think that was probably the biggest aspect of vision loss, was losing independence. So anyways, we do a phantom walk, and eventually she says, why don't you try a guide dog? And I was like, yeah, but what if it doesn't work? And she says, it's okay. If it doesn't work, you can just send it back. And literally, that was the conversation. I was like, okay, well, there's no downside to that. So I went through the process and signed up for my first guide dog. And so this is Nick with me today, and he's my second guide dog. My first guide dog, Kiara, is retired, and she's 13. And she lives with a good friend of mine that I used to race with Team USA. I used to race tandem bike, and she retired with my former pilot. And so it was a love match. But anyways, through this process of learning to work with a dog, there were a lot of tears and a lot of frustration, because I didn't actually believe a dog could be smart enough to keep me safe. And it was really hard to convince someone like me, who's been sighted my entire life and independent, to trust a dog. And I have to say, that first experience with my first guide dog was about 6 months of me just not trusting. And I will never forget the moment when it kind of all clicked. And I feel bad for my trainer at the time, because I think she listened to me cry outside like every single day, because I just was like, I can't do this. But when it finally did click, she actually kept me from getting hit by a car that was backing out of a parking spot. And it was like in that moment, she picked up on that before I did, and it was just so life-changing. So now, I had Kiara, and then Kiara retired, and now I have Nick. I have never been so emotionally bonded to a soul. I'm really close with my kids, but I'll tell you what, this dog, and it's okay because they've heard me say this before, but this dog, it isn't, when you allow yourself to be open to a soul like this, where their intention is to keep you safe and to help you and to show up for you every single day, it is like powerful. My emotions can change, and I could be across the room and he'll sense it, and he will be next to me in seconds and without me having to say a word. And I think that this process of learning to work together as a team with a dog that's trained like this is life-changing. And I'm sure that everybody that has a guide dog says it's life-changing, but I just have to say, I am a hard-headed, stubborn, very determined person. And so for someone like me to be able to be vulnerable and step into that space with this dog is very empowering. And so I have to say thank you for anybody that helps Guiding Eyes, because I cannot imagine my life without him. He just turned 9 on Saturday, so he's coming into his last year of official work. But he's definitely my soul dog, and I will keep him forever. But I just want to say thank you, and it's real. And I'm so appreciative for an organization like Guiding Eyes and the people in this organization, like the connections that I have made with the trainers and the different individuals that work in the different areas of this organization, Lisa included, like heartstrings, right? I just know that there's support and there's connection, and I'm a lifer with Guiding Eyes. So I'm just really appreciative for the opportunity to be able to have this, besides this, to get around. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone and Guiding Eyes. So, thank you. Yeah. Can you take it? Take it. Take it.
Shawn, we very much appreciate you sharing your experience with us. Your story brings it home exactly what Guiding Eyes does for countless graduates that we've been successfully been able to help.